Today on Monkey Life, a designer jacket for Bruce the Capuchin.
So I've made my little dressing in advance and put our sticky around it.
Baby Gibbon Tia Nang shows Mum she's a big girl now. And a wild-style bedtime for the chimps.
Just using my forestry skills here.
This is Monkey World in Dorset. Tucked away deep in the English countryside, it's the largest sanctuary for monkeys and apes on the planet. And this is Dr. Alison Cronin, the primate's best friend. Alison and her team spend their lives rescuing...
They're all going to have a chance to live proper lives again. Perfect.
...and rehabilitating primates from all over the world.
Good help. Where's good girl?
They currently look after more than 240 monkeys and apes from 16 different species. The park has 88 capuchin monkeys split into 4 different groups. They're mainly females, but there are 24 males who all live together, splitting their time between their indoor bedrooms and a shaded, leafy outdoor enclosure. They get on pretty well, and alpha male Sean keeps them in order. But recently, the care team spotted a small cut on Capuchin Bruce. The wound was on his shoulder and was quite minor, but it failed to heal properly.
Some of the other animals have been grooming around that area, and of course they're drawn to the wound and drawn to grooming that particular site. And what's happening is that every time it starts to heal over and you get a scab there, the others are picking it off. So it's some over-enthusiastic grooming in an area where we'd prefer them to leave it alone.
Bruce has had to be separated from the main group into a small bedroom with just a couple of friends.
To help the healing process, we've had to put on a little jacket. The jackets seem to work really well. The only problem with them, obviously, they have to be changed regularly. So to make this as stress-free as possible, we crate train our animals into a small crate where they then can be transferred for the operation. The alternative to crate training is, unfortunately, actually catching them with nets and gloves, which can be quite stressful for them and obviously for the keepers. Come on, Bruce. Bruce.
To train the monkeys and apes, the keepers put a crate in their bedrooms and place tasty food treats inside until the primates are happy to enter.
Bruce, come on, Bruce. Good boy, Bruce.
Bruce is being crate trained several times a day, so his jacket can be changed every 3rd day.
He's definitely a little bit more nervous because there's a few more people in here than normal, but it's quite nice to see that he's so conditioned to the crate being a positive, he'll still come in even though the stress levels are a little bit higher.
Later, Mike the vet tries his hand at tailoring.
Might just make that a bit bigger under his arm.
And Bruce gets a new made-to-measure jacket. Many of the primates at the park have little or no memory of their early lives before they were stolen from the wild for the pet trade. In order to make their lives as natural as possible, the primate care team try to replicate and promote behaviour they would experience in their natural habitats. Today they're going to great lengths to surprise Hananya's group and encourage them to go back to basics at bedtime. In the wild, chimpanzees construct nests to sleep in, interweaving branches and leaves in a circular fashion. They generally build them in the tree canopy and either make a new one every night or reuse a previous nest. The chimps at Monkey World have warm bedrooms to sleep in and are supplied with wood wool and blankets. But tonight, Hananya's group will have the option of trying something new.
So this is Hananya's play area, and tonight they're going to have something special for their nesting material. We're going to give them a whole playroom full of browse. Now obviously these guys initially would have been in the wild for a small amount of time before they've been sold through the pet trade. So some of them would have learnt skills when they were with their mum, because this is a learnt behaviour. So it'd be interesting to see which of the guys sort of take to it straight away and start building nests. It's a forest in here. I'm just using my forestry skills here. Flower arranging at its best. Generally, most of them like to sleep on the horseshoe at the back. So we'll put loads of browse up there, and then obviously sort of in amongst the steps. Well, we try to pack it as much as we can so that then they can take what they need and go to whichever area they want to be in to nest there. We've just added some maize. We're just going to put this in amongst all the other browse as well.
It looks a bit like a chimp harvest festival, I think. We've got cob nuts, we've got sweet corn. Yeah, I think they'll enjoy it. I think they're going to go mad when they come in, but no, it'll be good fun.
Later, will any of the chimps branch out and try nest building? Bruce the Capuchin has a wound on his shoulder, and his special designer dressing needs changing. Bruce's crate training has paid off, and animal director Jeremy is taking him to the on-site hospital, where vet Mike Nathan is waiting.
We're trying to do these things with the least stress as possible, so we can get him virtually asleep, give him much lower doses of drugs. It doesn't stress him out as much, because normally if you've got to catch them, they bash themselves, you get cuts over their faces, and it's horrible. You know, imagine being caught in a net. It's not nice. So this so far has worked brilliantly, and we're now hopefully at a situation where the wound is looking, which has been going on for quite a long time, where the wound is it's just a question of stopping him scratching it and somebody else scratching it.
Bruce has been sedated in the crate, and Mike removes the old dressing to check the wound.
That looks quite nice. I'm just giving him oxygen here. I've got that on, Jeremy, if you want to use it. That's actually really nice and dry.
So it's just on oxygen there?
Yeah.
Mike cleans the wound and uses a special spray to keep it dry.
Quite nice. All right,
now he can move on to fashioning Bruce's new jacket.
So I've made my little dressing in advance. Might just make that a bit bigger under his arm.
Jeremy keeps an eye on Bruce's vital signs while Mike works.
Right, now because they can pick at things, we put our sticky around it. Okay, head down.
With this amount of cappies living together, there's bound to be issues, and there always will be. Now, you're never going to get perfect harmony. It's just not going to happen. You know, I like you, I'm mad about you, I'm obsessed with you, and I hate you. I couldn't care less about the other guy. And, you know, you've got all these things happening, and then multiply that, what, 30 times 30? It's just not going to happen.
He's waking up. There we go. Okay. Okay. I've got him. Okay. Wait. See how quick that can. Okay. Right.
Mike and Jeremy get Bruce back into his crate just in time.
Hello, Lodge. Bruce is on his way back.
With the day drawing to a close, the primates at the park begin to make their way into their warm, safe houses. Tonight, Hananya's group arrive to find their house has had a makeover. Earlier, the primate care team filled the playroom with browse and maize to encourage the chimps to revert back to natural behaviour and nest build like they would in the wild. It's already arousing a lot of interest. Evelyn and Peggy don't hold back. And Trudy's truly got her hands full. Alpha male Hananya doesn't seem impressed with the playroom makeover. But after a quick once-over, decides his stomach comes first. It seems all the chimps intend to have a good supper before they even think about bedding down for the night. Hananya's group are particularly partial to corn on the cob, and Tico is an expert at stripping it down. As usual, low-ranking Arthur is the last to eat. But there's plenty for everyone. Patricia starts gathering maize stalks. But she's not nest building, just making sure she's got her fair share. She's a chimp who loves her food. With most of the corn eaten, the chimps start on the foliage. Chimps often eat green leaves which provide good roughage for their diet. Once they've had a good feed, most of the group head into the bedrooms, where they can find the wood wool and blankets that generally make up their beds. Cookie loves her blankets and can spend ages adjusting them until they're just right. Next door, Shamak ignores the nest-building material and opts for wood wool. But Simon, always a clever and thinking chimp, demonstrates some natural behaviour by mixing in some of the branches and leaves with the wood wool he usually uses for his nest. Bottom of the league Arthur joins him on the platform. And, with a little bit of repositioning and some last-minute readjustment, the chimps settle in for the night. It's the morning after the night before. Hananya's group are having breakfast in their outdoor enclosure, while Keeper Kate has arrived to check for signs of nest building in the playroom.
It went quite well with the browse last night. You can see there's quite a lot remaining still, so they did, as there was quite a lot in there, they did spend quite a lot of time eating. Just for that, purely alone, for the fact that they had such an array of different browse to choose from, that was really nice to see. We didn't actually see any nest building just with the browse, but there is one nest on the top platform that has a bit of maize in with it, but that's kind of what we expected anyway. I think this is Simon's nest. It looks like Simon's added a piece of our hosing into his nest, and he's actually in a perfect circle. It's come up from just the other side of the platform there, and he's pulled it round in a circle, and it's gone right round to the other side of the nest.
Most of Hananya's group were taken from the wild when very young, so didn't learn natural nest building from their mothers. But chimps are clever and adapt to their surroundings, and this lot like their creature comforts. In the meantime, Kate and her colleagues have the task of clearing up the debris.
This perfect forest has turned into this.
Golden-cheeked gibbon Peanut recently had an operation on her torn lip. Her baby Tianang stayed on board for the whole procedure. The wound has healed well, and now Peanut and her family are all able to enjoy life in their outside enclosure. The primate care team want them to take full advantage of the spacious, tree-filled environment, just like they would in the wild.
Today we're actually going to put out cherry browse. It's in season at the moment, so they actually haven't had it for a whole year. There's so much around the park. So we're actually going to put hanging baskets in the trees and just stuff them with loads of browse. They've actually got to physically get up in the trees and hoik out all the cherries off all the browse. Hopefully they'll come out and spot it straight away, and hopefully they'll be really excited. They do absolutely love cherries, so this is a really good enrichment for them. So they're going to have to work their bodies to get to the ends of the branches to the cherries, and hopefully it will be really good. We've got Peanut, who's the female. We've got Pongyo, who's the male. Now we've got their two kids. We've got Tien, who's just coming up to 3 years old. And we've also got their new baby, who's 4 months old. She's called Tianang, and growing really, really fast. She's actually just started eating fruit, so this hopefully will be really good for her.
Baby Tianang is so tempted by the cherries, she lets go of Mum.
At the moment, she's actually off Mum. She's actually, eating all the food. Mum's just keeping a really close eye on her, because obviously Mum doesn't want her to go off too far, because she's still quite young.
But little Tianang has her own ideas. Although she never wanders too far from the security blanket provided by Peanut.
What I like about this family is they're just so strongly built. Their connection with each other is very, very strong. They're brilliant parents, Peanut and Pongyo. So hopefully in the future they'll keep on breeding, because obviously golden-cheeked gibbons are critically endangered in the wild. Oh, it's gone, yeah, absolutely brilliant. I'm really happy with it. They did exactly, what we wanted them to do, and it was, really great to see baby coming off Mum. I haven't actually seen her come off outside before, so it was really, really heartwarming to see.
Monkey World has a sister sanctuary based 6,000 miles away in Vietnam. Dao Tien Rescue Centre stands on an island in Vietnam's largest and most diverse conservation zone, Cat Tien National Park. Alison regularly visits Dao Tien, but its day-to-day running is overseen by Dr. Marina Kenyon, who previously worked with Alison at Monkey World back in Dorset. Marina is in the UK on a flying visit and has come to see the golden-cheeked gibbons. One day, she hopes some of them will return with her to Vietnam.
Little Tia Nang just looks fabulous. She looks perfect. Peanut's just a wonderful natural mum. It just shows you when you rescue animals from the trade and they say, oh, they could never be Gibbons. And I remember the battle for Peanut, and the person said, oh, they would never ever go with Gibbons. She's too messed up, she's too humanised. But she's the perfect Gibbon and the perfect mum. Hello, Peanut. Look at your baby. You're such a fabulous mum. But you're a honey monster, you're so fluffy. Seeing Peanut now with her family of 4, kind of makes me feel pressurised now. We really have to get going in Vietnam because, yeah, she's doing what she's meant to be doing for a captive breeding programme. She's been fabulous. And she has all these youngsters now that need to find their way back to the forest. So it's making me realise that she's doing her part, now we need to do the rest for her.
The 2 most likely to return to their natural habitat are Peanut's youngsters, baby Tia Nang and her brother Tien, now 3 years old.
I can't wait for Tien to come to Vietnam. At the moment, for some reason, we've rescued lots and lots of females. So I know 4 young ladies of the same age of Tien who just, yeah, can't wait for him to come. So he's going to be a very lucky young male. He's going to have a choice of different females, and then he'll be fast-tracked and back out to the forest. But the best thing here is that he's had all his life in the trees here, so he's actually a pretty normal little gibbon. So we're hoping that he'll do very well.
Next time on Monkey Life, Alison's undercover on the trail of an illegal beach chimp.
I think he's coming to the end of his working days, and that means potentially the end of his life.
But can a meeting at the Turkish embassy secure a rescue?
Fingers crossed, I think.